Okay, so welcome everyone to Heroes Live and in Person. My name is Scott. I am the lead dev of Heroes Token, and this is a space we offer every week to bring a little bit of education of what's going on with other projects as well as what's going on in the space. Tonight we have Lucky Toad, which is fantastic. We're excited to hear all about what they're putting together and building. And yeah, so with that, Cryptoad, would you like to do introduction?
Yeah. Well, here with Lucky Toad, we're kind of we've got a lot of Mev code we're working on. Most people only know of Mev for its front run capabilities, but there's a lot of cool stuff you can actually do with Mev, and we'll get more into that. Probably starting out with our reflections model, our tokenomics. It's one of a kind. It's never been done before. But essentially, every time someone sells, instead of doing the normal reflections where you pool up all those tokens and distribute it to everybody, giving pennies to every holder, we've kind of gamified it a little bit, and we've got jackpot reflections. So instead of pooling those up, we actually cut those taxes and we send those reflections in whole to our holders. The more tokens you hold, the more likely you are to get those jackpot reflections. And those, go ahead.
I'm going to just ask a question here as you're going. So the jackpot, how is that randomly picked? And is it just one person that wins that, or is it, a group of people?
Yeah, so on every sell, 8% of that goes to one holder. It's chosen randomly by our contract, and it's given out based off of how many tokens you hold. So if you own 1% of the supply, you have a 1% odds of getting those jackpots on every sell.
And what is the max supply any one person can hold?
We do not have a max wallet. I don't particularly believe in max wallets because all it does is force people to create another wallet and kind of keep things separated. But because of how odds work, it doesn't matter whether you have all of your tokens in one wallet or you have all of your tokens in several wallets. The odds are all the same.
Awesome. All right. Sorry for the interruption. Continue.
No, you're good. And a big thing too is those jackpots, they're not paid out in native token. They're paid out in ETH. So as you're holding, you're actually able to, especially if you're holding a larger bag, you're able to consistently just get jackpots, ETH rolling in. And so it gives you a way to over time take profits on your token without ever having to sell that token.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that idea. So on the cells, you're saying that 100% of the taxes go to jackpot reflections, correct?
Yep.
And on the buys, that's what helps promote your development, marketing, and support your team, right?
Yes. So right now we are in the process of migrating to a new contract. So we actually don't even have taxes on right now. So the only taxes on our contract currently is only that sell tax. 100% of that goes to our holders.
Okay. So what is go ahead. I'll let you continue with more about the project.
Cool. Yeah, and probably a big thing right now. Currently, our contract actually runs those tokenomics. The problem with that is it gets very gas heavy. It's a gas guzzler, and so a big thing we're changing on our migration is we've actually found out a way to integrate Mev into our code. So instead of the complicated stuff happening in the contract, Mev will randomize. It'll pick the winner and transfer those winnings, and so that'll that'll help out with gas a lot, as well as if we ever need to change things down the road, or we need to, for example, our staking, the staking holders, when that comes out, it's not giving out tokens. The problem when stakers get tokens is that you can drain liquidity pretty quickly that way, because those are tokens most of the time aren't paid for. And so our staking, it'll increase your odds. And so we found a cool way to add staking without actually impacting the chart. So MEV is a big thing with our project. And the first thing we're building currently is actually a MEV run giveaway DApp. So anytime you see these projects, they'll do a buy contest, or they'll just do giveaways. You're relying on those devs to be honest with the winners. And so what our giveaway DApp will allow you to do is you can actually randomize, like make your giveaways trustless.
That's great. So this the MEV that you're referring to, that is something that you guys have created, or is that something you're utilizing from another project?
So MEV bots are granted, it's changed since the merge, but it's minor extractable value. MEV is what you see with front runs a lot of the time, or flash bots, but they do a lot more. You can actually tip a MEV bot in gas, and you can get it to run any sort of calculation you want. So we are utilizing something that's already in the space, but we are customizing the code that it runs on.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So that is not currently happening yet. That's going to happen with your next your V2. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep. V2 will utilize MEV inside of the contract. Not currently running that way. Like I said, the way we have it now, we did it the way we have it now to kind of keep things transparent and open on the blockchain, but we found a way to share that MEV code without giving all the specifics, but allowing people to check that code, check that we're doing things fairly and honestly. But yes, it'll be integrated going into V3.
Dude, that's fantastic. All right. Go ahead and continue. There'll be time for questions. We'll have the community come up and ask, and I'll throw some questions in there as well. So, but
cool. But yeah, so the giveaway DApp will be along with our relaunch. That'll be out as well. And so it'll be a way to kind of get our name out there when we essentially want to be the face of trustlessness. So anytime you see a project using our code, you know it was done fairly and as honestly as possible. And then another thing we're working on, this will be a little bit further down the road because it is so complicated to figure out. But we're working on a swap that same thing. It uses MEV. Everything we're doing utilizes the MEV code that we're building. So as we go over time, we're able to release utilities as we're heading towards more of our final goal. But with our swap, there's a way where you can actually leverage positions. So if you ever, for example, if you were buying into a project with 10% in, 10% out taxes, just to keep things simple, instead of having to throw all of your capital in, instead of having to throw a full ETH in there, you would just prepay for taxes, prepay for gas, and you'd be able to slightly leverage your position using less capital, and then you could set an amount of ETH on the side as collateral. And then if your position were to ever go into the negative, using MEV code, we'd be able to liquidate your position without ever losing money on our end. We're still working out the best way to get that ETH for leverage, whether it's using just normal loans out in the space, or if people were to stake their own ETH and they collect rewards on that. We're still trying to figure out the best way to do that. But the swap's a big way to actually get income coming into the project, and just growth. Obviously, everything runs on money, and so that's our big thing to start getting income coming in.
That's great. So you say is there more than just you to the team? And how many are you? And what are you guys doxed? Are you guys undoxed? And what is the reasoning for that?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much the face of the project. I had this idea back in May for these reflections. My dev, who is building the MEV code, he built my contract. It is Riley, and so he's doing more of the blockchain, the MEV code, and then just kind of third parties I've also been working with to get the giveaway UI built, utilizing Riley's code.
Awesome. So it's just you and Riley then?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So small team, you guys deployed back in May.
And we didn't deploy back in. We deployed about a month ago, September 5th. We've been working on getting these tokenomics since May. I brought this idea up to Riley, and he's built the code for it.
Okay, awesome. So you guys launched a month ago, and you currently offer the tokenomics, correct? And then you have looks like your liquidity is locked for a year. Is it going to be a year till you deploy your V2, or is that going to happen sooner?
So it's going to happen sooner. One of the issues that came up, and it really is it's a curse in disguise, is a current issue in our contract is it actually unintentionally mints tokens. And if you look at our holders, you can see the wallet where those tokens are at. And so when we go to deploy V3, we're just going to exploit our contract so we can drain the entire liquidity pool. Everything going into the relaunch, everyone's tokens will match 1-to-1. The value will match 1-to-1. These issues I've been like very upfront and transparent with our community. Obviously, it looks a little weird seeing such a huge wallet in that holder count. So we won't have to wait that whole year, but going into the migration, we will be locking those up for another year. Does that make sense? I think you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I didn't have my mic on.
You're okay.
Yeah. So what you're saying is your contract auto mints, and moving forward, do not want it to continue to do that. So you're going to have a finite number for your V3, correct?
Yes. So all of those tokens that we've unintentionally minted, those will not be there going into the migration. We are getting rid of those. We don't need them. We only need them to drain our liquidity pool.
Okay, I gotcha. So how many tokens are you going to launch with for your V3? What's going to be your plot?
It's kind of the meta right now to have a much lower supply. But we did, when we launched, we launched with a 1 quad supply.
Okay. All right. Nice. So with the next version of your token, you're going to be implementing staking. Are you going to do that internally, or are you going to go through a different platform? How are you planning on going about doing your staking?
So we will do staking internally. We've pretty much got the code already done for that. Like I said, our staking is going to be very different. Like I said, is the problem with staking is a lot of the time, unless you have a percentage of your taxes going towards staking, those are unpaid for unpaid for tokens. So over time, as people collect those free tokens for staking, it can hit your liquidity. So plan staking, instead of giving out free tokens, the people who believe in the project, they'll just have their jackpot odds increased. So you'll have a higher chance of getting Ethereum over time versus getting tokens.
All right, nice. So looks like your next phase, you have white paper releases coming, CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. So one of the questions, and this is just because of the time that we're in, the way the market is, I know with CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, they have recently, and I say recently, it's probably been 6 months to close to a year, that they look at volume in order to get added to their platforms. How are you planning on overcoming that?
So yeah, the volume starts to become an issue, and we had initially applied. We went roughly 400K in volume. We didn't get it, and it's not something I think is worth spending tax money on to expedite. And so as far as getting that, it's just over time, as there's consistent volume, as the chart remains to look healthy, that'll just kind of come naturally. Granted, there's things where you can apply a few times, and that's kind of the hard part with CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap is they're such a they have a monopoly on that kind of market. So it's not something. Go ahead.
Personal question. On that note, so do you find value in CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko?
Just to the point of being, just to the point of people seeing you out there. And that roadmap, it will be updated with our launch of V3. There's really the only value with there is being able to get your DEX tools updated and just the increased visibility.
Yeah. So I'm going to just send a shout out here because I see them listening in. But down below, there's links. I don't know if you're familiar with them at all, but they have a awesome app that, seems to be more accurate than what both CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap are as far as pulling data. But you might want to check them out. And, that's something that they are pretty at it, pretty good on getting tokens listed. And then I also have a few other projects that are working on their own listing competitive listing platform to compete with CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap that, we also have, gone in with, and they're kind of where you're at, where we're at. They're in the development stages, they're building, and they're coming up with something that is going to be a little bit bigger. And I think, with the way CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap run and have been operated, and letting coins still fast track on there that rug a week later, while other projects, that are legitimate projects have been trying for months to get onboarded and they just refuse to list them. I think that's going to come to a halt, and somebody's going to take them over. Personal opinion, though.
Yeah.
So,
and I see value on getting on those platforms as well. And so reaching out to those guys is also it's something that I will do.
awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, and you have to network in this space. You have to continually, open your doors. And that's why we love having this space, is because we get to learn about fantastic projects like yours. And that's how we have many other projects. And, that's just what you have to do. It's about networking, working together, and, growing together. Right. So back to Lucky Toad. So tell us a little bit about LilyPad.
So that's a launch pad that we'll be working on as well. That'll be more of an automated. There's tons of kind of Koa Combat's always one that's stuck in my mind, where they had a legit project in mind, but the way they got their contracts, kind of they screwed up their launch, and so it'll be an automated launch pad where you can get your contract, you can deploy using the stealth launch code that we have. It's how we launched it. It was how we avoided bots for the most part, where you basically it's kind of the second you show up on live new pairs is the second that you're tradable. And so it doesn't give snipers, it doesn't give bots time to look at that live new pair and make sure it's the right one. And so there's value there. And so we'll be using MEVBot to help run this, but it will get people contracts. They'll be able to punch in the info they want. It'll auto build their contract, launch in a launch with our anti-bot code. And these contracts, we don't plan on collecting up front for these. What we plan on doing is just adding a really, really small tax onto the contract that we will collect volume on. And so go ahead.
Yeah, so that kind of leads into, one of the questions that I eventually get to is, sustainable income for your project. So you're planning on offering contracts to other projects that they can launch on your LilyPad, and then you'll collect a portion of the transactions, correct?
Yes. And not so much and not so much that it only launches on ours. It's just this is a platform people can come. If they have an idea for a token, it decreases the barrier of entry. Obviously, we'd throw some anti-rug code in there that we've seen work in the past. So if a project launched with us, they wouldn't be able to just rug it. They would have to essentially grab permission from us if they ever needed to drain liquidity or do big airdrops, preloaded wallets. So same thing. We're just trying to fill up some gaps where there is trustlessness issues. And so when you see a giveaway from Lucky Toad, when you see a project launch on our launch pad, you don't have to worry about things not being done the correct way.
Okay. So and I'm kind of getting into questions here, but you're asking projects to trust what you're doing with, with their liquidity, that, they have to get approval from you guys. Are you guys going to do any kind of KYC or dox yourselves so that these projects have some additional form of trust with your project?
Yeah, I do have plans to KYC. Riley's currently doxed, and it's not that we'll have full control of their liquidity. We just prevent them from doing bad things with that liquidity, and that would just be all code inside of the contracts.
All right, so you would not have access to the liquidity. You would just have the ability to free it up so they can gain access, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And essentially, nobody should ever be touching that liquidity unless a project dies entirely or they need to make a migration. Other than that, liquidity is something that should never be touched.
Right. So, awesome. I do see that you are planning on doing some kind of a betting platform in the future. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and that'll be worked into the swap we have planned. A big thing is 60% of all volume for crypto is derivatives, but nobody's ever brought it to Uniswap traded tokens, and so being able to leverage, and we're still working on kind of the derivatives aspect of things. Obviously, that requires volume on those to make it make sense. But we're really starting out with the leveraged swaps, and then from there, as we build traction, as people see what we're capable of, we'll push more towards betting on there as well as derivatives.
Okay. So are you guys US based, or what country do you guys call home?
So I live in US. I'm in Utah. And then my contract dev is in Australia.
Okay, so you're gonna have it founded in Australia as far as the home for the project?
Probably. Yeah, because it gets a little yeah. And being kind of a first for this kind of DeFi leverage derivative stuff, like laws are a little gray for the US, while things are a lot more open for things are a lot more open in Australia.
Right, and that was going to be my next question. If you said you were going to base it out of Utah, was, are you planning on gaining a gaming license? And because I know for the States, that is a requirement for any kind of betting platform. And then that's not an easy thing to gain access to. So, yeah, it makes sense that you're going to base it out of Australia then.
Yeah. I mean, in Utah, we can't even buy scratch off tickets. We have Utah's very very weird about the gambling and anything of the sorts. But we'll need to navigate the laws restrictions on that. I don't foresee any issues doing leverage with those. But as far as if we were to add betting, yes, it would probably run out of Australia.
All right, nice. So no scratch offs, no lottery, no anything like that in Utah, huh?
Nothing.
Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, you couldn't even buy real beer in the grocery stores up until like 5 years ago. You could only get 2.9%.
What?
So Utah's a little interesting, but we'll be able to navigate it, and we've got some out, especially having my dev in Australia. It gives us a lot more long-term flexibility for utility like this.
Nice. So, is there anything that we missed here about your project and what you guys are building?
No, we pretty much covered everything. Like I said, currently we only have a sales tax on. We don't have any buy taxes. We turned that off very early because that's what was actually causing the minting issues. And so, if you're looking to get in for the V3, obviously taxes will be turned back on for V3, but our current version, we have taxes off up until we migrate contracts.
Awesome. So I'm going to open up the floor. Anybody that wants to pop up and ask a question, comment to Cryptoad about Lucky Toad, or if you have a question for us with Heroes, that's why we are always out here. We're making ourselves as available as possible to answer any questions. Please request, we'll bring you up. In the meantime, I will ask this. So how are you gonna do a airdrop for your migration to your current token holders, or are you going to go through a migration DApp? What are the plans there for migration?
Yeah, we'll do airdrops. Since we are able to get all the liquidity out of our pool, if you own $100 of tokens upon migration, you'll have that same $100. So nothing will change. You don't need to do anything on your end other than importing it in your wallet to see it.
Perfect. So I did bring up I am the best. How you doing tonight?
Hold on, buddy. Let me turn down my Overwatch. Hold on. All right. What's up, Dev? That was a great V2 launch, by the way. We spoke many times, so you already know the deal. How long before the V3 you'll give us heads up?
So I'll give a few days heads up. Probably 3-4 days. Obviously, we can relaunch at any time, but the goal is to have working utility out upon relaunch. The giveaway, a beta version of our giveaway DApp is getting close, and so as soon as we finish that up, we'll drop a date, give people a few days, and then do the migration.
I like the last drop you did. The way I think it was a Saturday afternoon or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact.
Yeah, I think
it was the 5th, whatever that was.
Yeah, try to do it on a day like that, like where everybody's home.
Yeah, no, I definitely like weekend more.
You know,
for sure.
Yeah, no, and that's something that's kind of awesome that Lucky Toad is doing, is they are sharing with you that there's a V3 coming well in advance, right? And I think that just shows a lot of transparency and gives a lot of trust in the project. And yeah, I'm sure you guys are going to be doing all kinds of notifications and posts on socials and whatnot about when that migration will happen to the T, right?
For sure. That's the biggest thing. I started this project. Transparency's always been my biggest thing. You can't really backtrack. If there's ever something that comes out that's not what it seems to be, or something that they've not been told them, you can't backtrack that. So from the very get-go, my whole goal is to just be as upfront, as transparent as possible about everything. And I think it goes a long way.
Oh yeah, and the issue with like we had to always use like high slippage and stuff like that. Would that be addressed or?
Yeah. So our current, because of how the jackpots run on our cell currently, Uniswap is unable to really calculate the amount of gas required. And so going into V3, where instead of our contract running the jackpots, Mev will run those jackpots. And as far as gas goes, having Mev run complicated stuff, you can get by with very little gas. So right now, our contract, in order to sell reliably, you need like 1.5 million gas units, which for this bear market, that's fine because it's not a lot of money. But going into a bull market, when you have gas units up that high, it'll get way too expensive. So it's not long term. It's not sustainable, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we are pushing towards that merge or that migration, resolve those gas issues.
Last question: are we looking at before Halloween launch?
Yes, I'm hoping it can be within the next week, 2 weeks. Like I said, well, it'll be for sure before Halloween, but before the end of October. Like I said, the big thing that I want is I want to relaunch with active utility, with staking active, and that will help fuel a much better relaunch going in.
Yeah, that's awesome. We also brought Seth up. Seth, how you doing tonight, man?
Good, man. My question is about the jackpot. With the wallet that was collecting the minted tokens on accident, how are you preventing it from winning the jackpot?
Okay, yeah. So this is actually when we had initially launched, those tokens were in a wallet that was jackpot ineligible. The problem with that is it really messes up the code, the jackpot code. And so what we've done is we've moved those tokens to a jackpot eligible wallet. And so that wallet is actively getting jackpots. It is, but 100% of that money, it's going right back to holders, right back to the community. I have no plans on keeping any of that. So right now, our jackpot code is a little messed up, but that'll be an issue resolved going into the next version.
Okay, and then my last question, and I might have just missed it, but what was the reasoning of going to a V2 from the original V1?
Okay, yeah. So what happened is we actually forgot to add buy tax. So there was no buy tax code, and we saw that we caught the issue within 10-15 minutes, and then we relaunched, added that buy code in. We relaunched within I want to say 2 hours. So that was the reason for the first migration. Unfortunately, kind of rushing to get that out because we didn't want to time rug people too badly. That buy tax code, it's missing 3 letters in it, and those 3 letters have that's what's caused that minting issue. So going into the next migration, we actually plan on doing testing on the Ethereum proof of work chain to see how it works with DEX tools, see how it works on a mainnet, but at a fraction of the cost. I think an Ethereum proof of work token's like $6 right now. So we'll be doing lots of testing on that before we ever get ready to migrate.
Yeah, I remember that night. That was an epic relaunch too, by the way.
Yeah, it was. That was a fun night.
I'll brag about it. I got a 20x, so I can't complain.
So are your contracts renounced?
No, we have not renounced the contract. We don't ever plan on renouncing a contract because the problem with renouncing a contract is it doesn't allow you to adjust with time. When you renounce, everything's stuck. versus not renounced. You're able to, if we ever need to lower taxes or it just really is like the taxes, being able to grow your contract over time. If you renounce, you're kind of you're stuck in you're stuck in the days of when you first launched. And obviously, as we've seen, even just over a year, the meta, how DeFi works, has changed significantly, which is why you see relaunches of all these really big tokens.
I agree, and I'm glad you said that. Thanks, man.
Of course.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. It says a lot about, what the project is doing when they renounce. I think, there are some projects that, are fine doing that, but really it depends on how the contract is written, what's written in it, and what can be changed. Really determines if renouncing is even viable for, further growth, right?
For sure.
Because some contracts are really basic and all they do is they have a buy and sell tax, or, maybe not even that. Maybe they just do reflections and adding to liquidity. And, the team is fine with not ever needing to change that because they have other utility that is going to help supply the token, right? A lot of these projects that are getting launched are dependent on those taxes to further develop. And, I will admit, our Heroes is in that boat, right? We initially launched and we depended on our taxes in order to continue on, right? So in the last 10 months, we've developed a means of income for the project that will allow us to get away from that. But our contract is written in such a way that it has other utility in it that we can adjust. So that is why we didn't renounce. And it sounds like yours is going to be very much the same way, where it's more than just the taxes and more than just, what the rewards are going to be. You guys are building something a little bit bigger this time. And, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And something I just thought about too, going into the migration, something we see a lot with is tax dumps, where contracts can only really sell tokens for taxes on a sell. So, and those sells are basically front running the top of every sell transaction. And so something we have working into our next contract is utilizing two liquidity pools. When someone buys, it will auto liquidate those taxes immediately versus letting the chart run up and then just doing a big tax dump for an amount of taxes that you weren't necessarily entitled to.
Well, I'm sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just agreeing with them.
There was a big question to my group member just asked me. When you do the V3, right? Will it start as the last market cap of whatever's on the V2?
Yeah, so we'll take a snapshot right before we plan to drain the liquidity pool. And so if you have $100 worth of tokens in V2, that those tokens will be worth $100 going into V3. So
I understand that, Lo. Let's just say, right? We understand that part. Let's just say right now the market cap is 45, right? Will the V3 start at 45?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't plan on, and it'll make the math for airdropping things a lot more complicated. I don't plan on having any tokens not in, or market caps in crypto are they're always inflated because you can basically set a ton of tokens to the side that never interacted with your liquidity pool and raise up that market cap. And so going into the V3, the market cap will remain the exact same. all the tokens we started with are going to be the same upon that migration.
All right, so there's not no extra. So what's going to be the total supply?
So unless we decide to change, our original supply was 1 quad. The meta right now is more of like the $1 million where tokens are worth pennies and dollars. I don't know if we'll go that route or if we'll just remain with the quad, but your token dollar amount, your token value will be the exact same. And that's been something I'll probably throw in our group in the Toad chat if people want a lower token supply. But we as far as values go, values will match 1-to-1.
Right. And as far as you said, you're changing the logo.
Yeah, we're gonna do a slight rebrand. Right now it's a little memey, which since we're coming out with utility, I want to be a little less of a meme coin, and so we're doing a slight rebrand. The name will remain the same, but we are doing a slight rebrand.
All right, I like that Lucky Toad one. That was kind of cool. But
I'll keep the stickers. It'll still be in our chat, but I want something a little less memey when people click into it.
The Toad's getting a bow tie.
I thought you were changing it because of Nintendo issues, you know.
Oh no, this Toad is all he's all original. We've got no licensing issues.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I was like, all right, he's probably changing this, you know, Nintendo. Like,
yeah, no, we're good on that.
There was one thing ever since you launched, I never understood how the rewards work. Or with the like explain it better to me. Like, you know what I'm talking about.
The odds. Yeah, so the odds are pretty simple. You take the total supply minus the tokens in jackpot ineligible tokens, so the liquidity and what used to be the tax wallet. Granted, those odds have kind of changed a little bit since we've moved those tokens, and then you just divide by your token amount. And so we've got a bot that will actually give you your odds. We're working on putting it on a more constant server because my dev's internet would go down. It would shut the bot off. But and I'll post the calculation for that inside of our Toad chat. But if you just imagine every token you have is 1 token for a raffle. So if you own 1% of the supply of all the token of all the holders, you have a 1% odd of getting those jackpots. Going into staking, where we're going to be messing with the odds a little bit. So if you stake tokens, you'll have higher odds on collecting those jackpots. It'll change up a little bit, but I'll keep everything on that updated.
All right, staking wise, because I'm not a big staker, but I would love to stake my tokens if you were to put like a 14, 15 day minimum instead of doing like 30 days like all these other guys do, because
Yeah, and with that, since Mev will run our jackpot code, we can change that up however we want. It gives us, it makes everything dynamic. So we can do smaller, shorter staking pools that give you a less percentage of odds, but we can also make further out staking pools that will strengthen your odds. So basically, the longer you decide to lock up your tokens, the higher your odds will be relative to the token amounts you have. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying right there.
Cool. Yeah, it gets a little complicated, but I'll get write-ups on all that, and on the staking app we're making it. I'll keep things I'll keep things as simple as possible on there. Very visually easy to understand.
And the last question, where everybody's gonna want to know this, what are you gonna do to plan for marketing before the V3? Like, do you have any any connections, YouTube influencers, or anything like that to like get the word out?
Yeah. So as far as marketing goes, a big thing I'm wanting to do is our jackpot or our giveaway DAP will be in the works, and so I do plan on running giveaways in other people's communities, funding a little bit of myself if people want to do buy contests, etc. And so marketing, and that's kind of the big goal for the giveaway DAP is making people aware of our platform, our token, and eventually the goal for that is you can set a time on when a giveaway ends, and we'll have an automated graphic that people will share around their communities. And when you see that, you know it's a legit giveaway contest that's in the works. When we first come out, it'll just be in beta, but we do have marketing planned. We got Twitter Spaces. I've not really ventured towards the YouTubers because those they can bring issues, but we do have.
I don't know if you remember, I gave you that call that night for Yon World, and you sent 2 super chats. Yeah, I know you remember, and that went pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I'll be reaching out once we get closer to the relaunch. We've got a pretty decent marketing wallet built up over the time, and I've been really saving that for the relaunch.
So basically, we just got to stack up before the V3.
Yeah,
that's it. I got you. You answered all my questions, sir. I will see you in the TG.
Sounds good. Yep. Appreciate you.
Are you related to Chip by any chance? I am.
I'm not related. You know why I got the clown picture? I won that with West Coast, and I told him before the contest. I told him if I won the contest, I would change my Twitter picture to that forever.
No, I was just, the questions that you're asking Cryptoad here, we have a gentleman in our community that does the same thing to us, and we appreciate it so much because it's so often that nobody has any questions, and he brings up some really good points, and we address them all. And we all need community members like that.
Oh, yeah, we got to know what's going on. Definitely, we got to know what's going on because, like I said, the first... I don't even know if you know Crypto Lion. I know this guy does. Crypto. I don't know his real name, but Lion. I know him as Crypto Lion. He's in my group. He's the one that gave my group your information that night, and nobody sold. He told us. Remember, like a lot of people you were telling people not to sell. Like you're just fixing the content. A lot of people have trust issues.
Yeah. And like I said, that all comes back to the transparency. My whole goal is to be transparent with everything that we're doing. Obviously, there's going to be issues, unforeseen issues that will happen, and I'll always address those up front.
Yeah, you never had like I said, you called me personally when I had an issue. Like I have no issues. This guy literally called me personally. He didn't out of his way, out of breath. Sound like you was in the rain or something, just to help me get a transaction through.
Yeah.
So, these guys are official. That's you. I could vouch for that. You guys are.
Appreciate
official. It. Yep, you guys 100% official. I'm just waiting for V3, and we will be on it. We'll start racking up now. We definitely will.
Let's go.
Yeah, and as far as advertising goes, I can say from personal experience that some YouTubers ask way too much money for what the results are, and we've been down that road, and it doesn't always pan out.
Yeah, we don't want nobody to dump on us either, too, though.
Right,
Yeah,
but yeah, there are
and
some.
or go ahead.
I was
Go
going
ahead,
to
go ahead.
say there are some really good promoters, and actually, one of them's here in this space worldwide. He holds spaces quite frequently and does AMAs for different projects, and very reasonable. And he gets all the points across that investors want to know.
It's
He does a
Worldwide
fantastic job.
Crypto, his name is? Worldwide?
Yeah,
I'm going to follow him. All right.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
a good guy.
I'll reach out. That's the big thing is you can spend this money on marketing, but if it doesn't bring enough volume to refill what you just spent, you've lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the free stuff is where I've honestly found to be the best.
Yeah,
So
ROI is key when you're spending marketing dollars. Will the expense cover, will you get the return on investment from the advertising? I mean, that's what you got to look at. And especially as a dev of a project, you're using money that was collected from transactions of your token, right? So, you're really using other people's money. You got to be aware of that. And people want you to go on this YouTuber's promotion, or they want you to do this advertising, and your DMs blow up with people trying to show you all kinds of stuff. And it's just a matter of being smart about it.
yeah, it's really easy to throw a few ETH around and claim your marketing. But my big thing is I'm trying to get the most bang for my buck, for our buck, the community's buck. Obviously, this is not just my money; it's the community's money. So, spending that as well as I can, as smartly as I can, is my goal with that marketing budget.
Absolutely. Anybody have any other questions? Feel free to request to speak. We'll bring you up. I do see Jigsaw's in the house. Thanks, guys, for popping in. That's another project that you guys should look into. They do a thing called the Syndicate that helps promote other tokens. So, really good project there. And DB's in the house. We were talking about alcohol earlier. I went to Canada and didn't realize that the alcohol levels in Canada are higher than they are in the States, and got pretty much obliterated off of a couple of drinks.
Yeah, that's not a good night. All right, it is, depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, so, but if anyone wants to come up and sing the national anthem for DB, the Canadian national anthem, you're more than welcome to. He's been looking for a good person to sing that.
Yeah,
Hey guys, I got a
me.
question. Did Binance really get hacked, or is that a CZ scam? That's what I want to. That's why I'm hearing CZ did this. It's just a scam.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the Binance stuff.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. That I'm getting crazy messages about it, like about like Binance, right? Not BNB. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
BNB got hacked.
Yeah, I've been hearing that too, but I haven't really looked into it.
Oh, Canada, oh, Canada. Love you, DB.
He's not even in the space. He left. The bum.
Oh, no.
Oh, dang it. Shit, that was wasted.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any insight on the BNB hack?
I do not. I do not.
I just checked. There's nothing wrong. The BNB is still the same price. I don't get it.
My understanding is it was something dealing with the bridge from another chat that I'm in, but that's about all I know.
Yeah.
My
I
money's
didn't
still
notice
in.
anything.
I don't see no issues.
I'm pretty sure,
All I got is
Ace, I'm pretty sure you're in that chat, the GG chat.
Yep,
Yeah,
I'm in it.
yes. So what you've seen in that chat, that's all I know on it. I don't really follow B&B much.
I only got Luna in there.
Nice. All right, so Cryptoad, I think we're just over an hour. Any closing remarks?
Nothing really. We've pretty much gone over everything that I wanted to go over. I appreciate you bringing this up. I do want to just do, for the people who are still in the space, I just wanted to do a little giveaway of 2 trillion Toad. Let me post a, granted, I should have done this from the start, but we never really talked about that.
That's fine. Go ahead, post up top, and then what I'll do is I will retweet it from the Heroes account, and people can grab it there. We'll post it in our telegrams and on the socials.
We don't. Let me.
So when's the next, while he's doing that, observer, when the next syndicate start?
I don't have the exact details because the host has got like 2 different personal things going on that's really affecting him right now. Family wise, he's good. It's work stuff outside of crypto. And then of course working this metaverse escape room with PLNT Max. So his head's spinning quite a bit, but we should be activating it no later than this coming Monday. But he could start it as soon as we start the community talent show Saturday night that we host every single Saturday night.
Yeah, I got to come up with something for that. I got to figure out how to make people do more goofy stuff.
I won't be there more than likely. I'm going to be up in North Carolina doing an airsoft game. So I'll be sleeping right around that time. Things getting started. So, but yeah, the syndicate should be kicking off no later Monday. So any projects out there, or you, well, actually for everybody out there, if you got a project you want to nominate, come join the Jigsaw Telegram. The link tree is in my bio. And we should be popping that off this coming Monday, or no later than Monday. Every round we kind of change up the rules a little bit. So when you nominate your project, I highly recommend that you guys read the directions or the guidance. Because we did have on this last round, we had one project. They were like, after they found out that they lost, they tried to FUD us, and then they was talking a lot of shit in their own community. Even their dev was like, "Yeah, had I known this, we wouldn't have even nominated." But because we took and did, if you buy the select NFTs, then that got you X amount of votes added onto your one vote that you already got. Or if you bought, 0.02 worth of Jigsaw, it got you, say, 3 additional votes. So every 0.02 you bought. So if you bought, 0.06 ETH, that was 9 additional votes added to your tally. So there's some communities that were kind of pissed off about it because, they lost out, because on normal votes they would have won. However, another project came in and they were close, and then of course did some additional buys and NFT buy and won it. So pay attention to the little details that we do. And since I've got you all here, just take in, if you want. I have on the team, I think I'm the only one with a Discord server. And I'm pretty available at night. So I'm willing to come into your community's Telegram, do a Twitter space with you guys, or come into your Discord and talk about the benefits of the syndicate, along with what the requirements are for you to help you win your syndicate, win the syndicate or win the nomination round to move to the next round and so forth. So that way it benefits your community with a buyback and burn. Pocket cows, we actually minted, I think, like 10 or 12 NFTs to include. We staked them so that way this stuff, like all this stuff, kind of goes to benefit the community. Last round, Kodachi token won, and so there's a percentage of our buy and sell taxes that goes during the winning week goes to a certain wallet that's dedicated to go to the winning project at the end of the day. So changes every round a little bit. So so come check us out. And then, like I said, all you got to do is send me a DM on Twitter or on Telegram, and I'll be more than happy to come in and chat with you guys.
Yeah, I think there's a trend though. Also, I think every winner you guys we've had on live and in person. So it's good luck. But for us, it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right? But hey, it's how everything goes. It's all good.
And it's another thing too is if you're part of a project that did not win one of the previous rounds, you're more than welcome to continue to nominate your projects. So even if you made it into the final round, but you got beat out, you're still free to continue to try again. So we love to see the competition.
Yeah, and the other thing that you got to look at is even if you don't win, having your name up there with the other projects that are nominated, puts you in front of other communities as well, and maybe brings more awareness to your project. So even though you don't get the jackpot where the syndicate actually helps you out, or Jigsaw helps you out, you do get that additional exposure, and that's a big advantage as well.
And to add on to that, and that's what we at Jigsaw are about. It's not just about us. Like, obviously we care for our community. We want the best for our community. We want the best for you guys and your community as well, right? So during the syndicate, as long as your project has been nominated and so forth, we allow a soft shill of your project into our Telegram. And so you can come in, talk about your project. Obviously, if you're trying to share links and it, denies it or whatever, send a DM to like myself, the Disciple, or Jigsaw Marketing, and we'll, or even actually Philip Trev. He's our nighttime mod when the rest of us are asleep, because we're actually all East Coast here in the U.S. On the team, but yeah, you can take and send it to us, and we'll throw your soft shell into the chat for you as well. So it's like I said, whenever your team, during the nomination round, or your team makes it onto one of the next voting polls, you're welcome to do soft shells, and it's not just from the mods or the team members; it's from your community as well. Not only are we trying to continue to get our name out there, we want to help you guys get your name out there as well. So we want our investors to be your investors and vice versa.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we are not trying to take anybody's investors away, because we've heard that BS before. An investor is going to invest where they want to invest, right? So at the end of the day, we want people to go where they want to go, and we just basically want to see everybody succeed. That is a straight up legitimate project.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. Hey, Cryptoad, I did retweet that from the Heroes account. So after the space closes, we will make sure that we post that everyone can jump on. How are you going to draw your winner?
I'm just going to throw it through Twitter Picker. Just make sure you're following me, and that should be good.
All right, so everyone follow Cryptoad. Be sure to follow everyone up here that's speaking. All fantastic people, and actually they all are part of projects. So all good projects too. I do see Gabe in the house. coming in at the very end. Appreciate it, buddy. Remember, unlimited pastries if you ever want to, come over to Heroes from Brew Labs. But no, it's all good, man. So yeah, any closing statements from you, Cryptoad? And then we'll go ahead.
Great. Yeah. Just to reiterate, currently our bite tax is at 0%. So if you're ever looking for an entry, being able to avoid those taxes going into migrations always best. So, but yeah, 0% buy, 8% jackpot reflections on there, and that's pretty much everything from me. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate everybody listening in.
Awesome. We appreciate you coming on our space and sharing your project with us and our community and everybody else that's here. We do this every week. Every Thursday we bring another project, or sometimes we have a repeat, but it always turns into a little bit more than just about that project. Of course, we learn everything that there is, but you also learn new things that you might not have known about before. And I think Crypto did go over a few things that many of us may not have been aware of. And that's what we do with this space. It's education on a different level, where you're learning about a project, but you pick up little odds and ends as we go. And that's what we're all about here. So we appreciate everyone for joining us. And with that, I think we're going to close the space.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good night.
Thank you.